connect with other people online. We'd go on the hip-hop chat room forums and like, all right, let's post our lyrics. And then we started meeting people. And then all of a sudden, computer software programs started coming in like, hey, you can actually record music. Now, by today's standard, it was really, really horrible quality. But it was like, hey, take this very simple program, you can take some instrumental, and you can record your lyrics with a $20 Radio Shack microphone, and then you can record a verse. And then you can actually email your verse to somebody else anywhere in the country, and they can add it to that instrumental, and then all of a sudden you have a song. And so my friend and I, we started doing our own little music. So he did this little demo album, and I did my little demo album in high school. Just having fun. But we ended up meeting people who, we had no idea at the time, they had no idea at the time that they were going to eventually take music seriously. So, some of the people that I've rapped with in the past, a guy named Mac Lethal. This was his first demo album. And Mac Lethal put out a bunch of little mixtape albums in the late 90s, early 2000s. He was kind of popular in the indie music scene until he did a crazy YouTube video where he was rapping about making pancakes, and now it has like 30 million views. He did a little spoof called Text from Bennett, where he was showing fake text messages from his little cousin, supposed little cousin, acting ghetto. And it's supposed to be this white kid that wanted to be a gangster. And he would send texts to his mom and everybody else acting crazy. And it got this huge following. He ended up turning that into a book deal. He ended up selling all of his prior albums for $20. You can download everything. Made $2.5 million by making a YouTube rapping about pancakes. Now he does stuff with MTV. He does things online. He's doing a TV pilot right now. So that's something that was interesting. Another guy went by the name Deacon the Villain. His father was a pastor. He was born in Kentucky. Went to Atlanta, Georgia, Morehouse College. Started rapping with some friends, started doing battle raps. But he liked to talk about God and religion. A battle rapper talking about God and religion, I was intrigued. And so him and my friends started, rapping and doing stuff together. He started linking back up with his friends from Kentucky, met some other rappers and producers from Atlanta. They started making a mixtape. Have you guys ever heard of Napster?
Oh, I did. Just
Napster was one of the first downloading websites where you could link up all the songs on your computer and file share with anybody. And so they did a little mixtape, and they ended up getting about 15,000 downloads, and all of a sudden they started getting nationally recognized. They started getting in all the major music publications, and then they put out their next album, and they got a bigger following, and a bigger following. They started doing US tours, and they started doing European tours. Now they work with some major label artists. He's a major producer. He produces for major label artists. But he doesn't sign with a major label because, he's very unique, and the mainstream does not like very unique. And that's one of the things I wanted you guys to learn from my talk today, is whatever you do, be authentic. If you're going to write, regardless if you're writing poetry, short stories, you're trying to write a book, you're trying to write a movie script, be authentic. Be true to yourself. He gets to make the music that he loves. He gets to produce for major label artists. He makes a lot of good money. He makes a lot more money than I do as a teacher. But he doesn't care about being famous. He doesn't want to go out and be like, hey, can I get your autograph? I'm trying to go to the bathroom. He's not down with that. But he works with a lot of different artists. His latest solo album he just put out just a couple weeks ago. Very politically, socially, and religiously conscious music. This album that they did, called A Piece of Strange, very religiously heavily influenced. It's a concept album from start to finish. Every song is connected to each other. Indie Rap Magazine called it one of the most influential albums in the past decade. But most people haven't heard of him outside of the indie world. Through him, I met a guy named Stan Robinson, who goes by the name Substantial. Substantial is a middle school teacher outside of D.C. in Northern Virginia. And he started writing poetry. He started recording like I did in high school. He went to an art school in New York City. His roommate was from Japan. he was working on a demo album. Comes to find out, his roommate from Japan is related to one of the biggest producers in Japan. Here's his demo, says, I want to fly you out and make an album with you. So during his spring break, he gets flown out to Japan, makes an album, and he outsells Jay-Z in Japan. Comes back to college, nobody knows who he is. So he makes a couple other albums on an independent label with some friends of mine, and he starts gaining a little bit